Okay, ladies. So obviously we have some storms here in Georgia from Hurricane Irma. So if my internet does get funny and cut out, typically I notice because to me it looks like all of you freeze, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But if so, since I didn't do a slideshow, I can totally just hop on here and right away pick it back up. It'll just affect the recording. So fingers crossed that we do well, because I know it's really windy and power is supposed to be going, is out for like 500,000 people in Georgia already, I guess. But anyways, yay, Lorette's on. Awesome. Okay. Hi, Lorette. We are just starting. So I am going to go ahead and mute everybody for right now. And then we'll undo it after for questions and whatnot. So, okay. I've got my tea. Anybody have wine? Or is everybody being good tonight? Marissa. Good girl. Okay. All right. So productivity and organization. This is going to be a 2-part training. There's entirely too much to say in one night, but I split it down the half with like productivity and organization. I'll touch on organization tonight, but then we're going to do more of an in-depth organization in terms of kind of keeping yourself organized in your business with tracking. And if you're going to use, a daily power hour tracker, paper, or you're going to do it on the computer, and then if you're going to use a system like a monthly, so what all the people that you've done in your power hours that you're going to keep track of each month, so that you can look in the next month, you can go back and be like, oh, who were the people I was chatting with? Like anybody you chat with. We're going to talk about how you're tracking friend requests and, messages going out, messages coming in, and interest in free groups and this and that. And something that still overwhelms me, I'll be honest, because I've been really bad about staying organized in my own business, but we'll constantly, so this one will be about this, that one will be about that, and we'll just kind of constantly be working and figuring out what works for each of us, because what works for me might not work for you. But okay, so I did a little bit of training for Melanie Mitro because she's a boss with organization and productivity. As we know, she's #1 for a reason. I did some of this from the 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins, which is the personal development book I've been doing that's been incredible. If you have any issues with productivity, I mean, it isn't all over. Melanie Mitro at Summit this year said that she had been starting to struggle with anxiety again. And a friend recommended this book and she started to read it and it literally changed her life. And considering I also struggle with anxiety and it's been flaring up on and off a lot since I had Josh and I'm in an on time right now, this has really been helping me a lot. And then also a little bit from Entre Leadership by Dave Ramsey, who's one of my favorites in terms of organization and planning. He's a billionaire. I mean, he's a top, obviously. So, all right. So, first and foremost for us as Beachbody coaches, again, this is how we're going to I'm going to cover kind of getting organized, planning, which is part of organization. Removing distractions, because that's going to ding your productivity all day long. And I'm sure you guys already know that. Becoming a boss of your mornings and what that looks like and how you can do that, and really prioritizing your time, because these are huge pieces that are essential to your productivity as a coach. So let me just start by saying, how many of you have had days where you feel like you have been on Facebook like on and off all day, but you didn't get a power hour done? And you've been, messaging people all day long, but you didn't invite anybody. Or you hopped onto Facebook and you're like, I've got 20 minutes, time to get to work. And those 20 minutes are over and you literally just finished sending friend requests. Like, there's a whole lot more to the power hour than that, right? Okay. It has happened to me many times. So this will help you if any of those things have ever happened to you. Okay. Just like we say in our challenge groups, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. If you fail to plan your business, if you fail to plan your week and your month, if you fail to plan your power hours and when they're going to happen and to set business hours, I know that makes you possibly like, ooh, it did for me, because every day is different for me as a stay-at-home mom, and that's the excuse I used to not organize and be, a planner of my time. And I'll tell you what, in 2 years, it got me nowhere. I could have been a lot further if I would have stayed a little bit more organized. I'll be completely honest with you. So I'm learning now to do that. So like I said, we have to do that in our challenge groups. We always tell them if they're not going to pull out the meal plan and they're not going to, get organized and look at it and make up their meal plan and do some meal prep, they're not going to do well that week. So we have to do the very same thing. We've got to map out our month in advance, but honestly, we've got to break it down and then say, what is coming up this week? And we got to think of everything, ladies. Like, I personally looked at my calendar today. I was like, everybody's getting into fall everything. pumpkin everything, leaves, da, da, da. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm either on Tasty Tuesday or like, I'm going to pick whatever I'm going to do based on my challenge groups and what I'm sharing. I'm going to pick like 2 days that I'm going to share from my challenge group. So maybe it's going to be Flex Friday. That'll be something consistently that my social media knows that they're going to see on my page every Friday at some point that Kim is going to do her Flex Friday. And honestly, what I keep hearing from people is that doing one or two, couple things consistently on your page every week, doesn't have to be the exact same time, but like every day that week, that you will get people that message you, and they're like, excuse me, Marissa, I didn't see your Flex Friday. Did you not get your workout in yet today? Seriously, how cool is that? Like, that is what happens when we're consistent. So pick something for you. But for me, I was like, okay, I want to get back to my Tasty Tuesdays. And I'm going to share a pumpkin spice, like cafe or pumpkin spice Shakeology recipe this week. And I'm going to make it look amazing because guess what? Everybody's into pumpkin spice. And I'm going to talk about how I'm getting my pumpkin spice latte without all the billions of calories in it. And it tastes amazing and it's super healthy, right? So we've got to be thinking like, okay, everyone's getting into football right now. Crock pots, chili. What about a healthy chili to have on football Sunday? We've got to just be thinking, what are you seeing in your social media? If you're going to be on it, you're going to be scrolling, then at least pay attention, right? But we're going to talk because I really don't want you scrolling around. I'm going to map that stuff out and I'm going to plan and know this week ahead, oh shoot, guess what? I forgot. I saw it and totally forgot to write it down. So guess what? I didn't advertise for last week. Guess what? I didn't do last week. The brand new Siggy's Whole Week of Hard Labor that came out last week. Now, am I going to catch myself up and do that right after Shift Shop before the next one? Absolutely. But I now missed the opportunity to advertise to show how charitable Beachbody is and that we are doing this thing for Houston and because I wasn't organized with that. So if you want to stop missing opportunities to capitalize on driving your business forward, you have to be organized and you check your back office, know what you're going to invite to, know what's going on, check the team page, check the team calendar, but you're going to make your own calendar and you're going to make your own months and your own challenge groups and when they start. So then you know when to back up, when to be advertising for them. If you guys notice for me right now, I'm about to run a free group on anxiety that I'm going to and advertise for tomorrow night. And I've got some free coaches that are going to be able to plug people in a little bit about how some healthier ways to deal with anxiety. Not because I'm an expert, but because as I've been learning, I'm sharing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make, Sean, can you turn that down just a tad, honey? I'm going to be sharing, that totally threw me off as we talk about removing practice. So that I'm going to be, I made a convenient little picture about, what did you guys see it? It was like me. I really need some help around here. And then also me. No, you're not doing that right. Here, I'll just do it. Okay, like 60-something people like that. It's totally me. This is part of my brand. Kim is anxious, controlling, bossy, like verbose. So as I look for a perfectionist, guess what? A lot of you on this call are perfectionists. What I'm putting out is what I'm attracting. But guess what? I like me. No, cray. So I like you guys too. So here's what I'm thinking is like, it makes it more fun to have people who are kind of like me. So so what I like to do is, so when I did that, guess what? Those people are all getting an invite to my group because I strategically put something out there to attract the kind of person. I'm also going to put another one out there tomorrow that's hysterical about like if I'm going to tell you a story, expect it to go off on 90 different tangents and get to the point that I don't even remember where I started because that's just me. Like these are, again, kind of people, perfectionist stuff, that's what I'm looking for. So I strategically put that like a week before my free group. I've also been leaking a little bit about like anxiety and about how I'm working on this book. I went live about anxiety this week. So anybody that was on my live call, anybody that commented on or liked it, anybody who liked that book, those girls are all going to get invites rather than me just randomly inviting people who I have no idea if they're anxious or not. So I'll still do something. Because I think everybody struggles with being overwhelmed. But anyway, so that is part of how I was like getting ready as I'm mapping out my month. I know I've got the group starting here. I'm going to do that. So if you, for planning, spend 15 minutes, most Beachbody coaches at the top, I have heard do this on a Sunday. They plan out their month. And if you guys are using our Team Power Hour thing that Ashley created that I think is so amazing that she shared, you get to plan your weekly posts. Now, the beauty of Beachbody and the beauty of our challenge groups and our posts is that what's real and spur of the moment is often the best. So I can't plan out every post. I'm never going to do that. But I do have an idea of, like I said, like 3 posts for that week that are going to happen no matter what, like a Tasty Tuesday or a Flex Friday. Or like, you know, maybe your thing is you're like all about meal prep and you're going to do meal, and maybe it has nothing to do with Beachbody. Maybe you're going to hashtag, maybe Carrie's going to have like a wacky dog Wednesday, whatever. And her social network is just going to come to know that her dog's going to do something wacky. She's going to take a picture during the week. They don't know that. It can happen whenever. But she's going to save that so that she can stay consistently posting something wacky that her dog, whatever. So you guys can pick whatever works for you. but it really helps to have a kind of a game plan with your posts and in your business in general. Power hours, like I said, I'll get to that. So if you spend 15 minutes planning, this is a really great quote from Dave Ramsey. If you spend 15 minutes planning your day on paper every morning, you will add 20% to your productivity. And I think that number's gone up. So you have to start properly managing your time. Melanie Mitro is our #1 coach 3 times in a year. She has the same 24 hours in the day as we do, you guys. Same 24 hours. She didn't invent the 25th hour. She has just learned to be a boss of her time and to be super laser focused when she's working and to make a prioritized to-do list and to work off of that. Now, how many of you are list people like me and you sit down on any given day and you make a list and it's got like 50 things on it and you barely scratch off 1 or 2 and then there's another 5 or 6 that you add and you're never getting to the bottom of that puppy? Okay, that's not good. So here's something that you need to start doing so that you're less overwhelmed, because when you're overwhelmed, what you're going to do is you're going to procrastinate and you're also going to distract yourself. And guess where we most often distract ourselves? Social media, and we're losing our time. So here's one thing that you can really do that will help you is to make a prioritized to-do list. You can do this by the day. You can do this by the week. You could even make it for a month. And then, or for me, I think it's a good idea to do like anything that needs to happen this week, but I'm going to then break it down by the day. And I know this sounds crazy, you guys. I got this at TJ Maxx for $1.99. And this is Monday through Sunday. And I kind of make a mental dump of everything I feel like I need to do that week. I didn't even quite finish this yet. And then if you can see, I put like strength 25, speed 25, strength 25. And I put next to it what I ate Wednesday. I'm going to share that on social media. Flex Friday, that's one of the ones I'm going to share. I put church in there. I put my success partner call, the new coach training on Thursday night, sending my posts for my free group, a call I was supposed to have today, Sunday, before and after pics, measurements, whatever. Like I've got everything going on this puppy that day, like, because my before and after pics don't need to happen next Sunday. They need to happen this past Sunday, like yesterday before the group started, right? Team call tonight, all that kind of stuff. So that will help me stay organized. But I've also filled that puppy in. If I can find the one from last week, you guys, it was like 80% every page. And all my anxiety went crazy and I was like freaking out and I cried to my husband, I can't do this. I can't make this business work anymore. Like I just don't have this kind of time. I was ridiculous last week. Like, thank God you guys. My poor husband. Love you, honey. Okay. So what happens now is that if you start properly managing your time with that to-do list, here's what you're going to do. You're going to write down everything. And then I want you to do A for the things that need to be done today. If you're going to just make like a dump list for the week, let's say things that need to be done today. B is things that need to be done probably tomorrow. And then maybe like C are going to be things, you can go on and you can just prioritize in terms of what's most urgent and time sensitive. Then ask yourself when you've got this list of things, let's just say you're doing it for today and you've got like 10 things you feel like you need to get done today. I will typically be like, okay, for example, this was for the summer, y'all. I believe this one stayed the same. They were the things at the beginning of the summer. I was like, I'm going to do these things this summer. I believe I got 3. But you know what? As I realized the summer was ending, I was like, oh, I got to do it because I'm a procrastinator. And so then I'll stay up until like 2, 3 in the morning. So you got to kind of find what works for you. And if you're a procrastinator and that's you, I'm going to speak to you. I've got things that'll help too. So, okay. Then go next to the A, the B, and I need you to write down a number 1 for the thing. If you got nothing else done today for your business, this is the number 1 thing you need to get done. So let's say that it's a Sunday and you have a challenge group starting the following Monday. It's absolutely going to be your last call challenge group advertisement, right? It's not going to be, oh, I've got to do those, like add those friends and I've got to finish up my MailChimp campaign and or maybe do a blog article or get my Tasty Tuesday ready or spend time making an advertisement for my free group. No, like the number 1 priority that day is going to be that. If nothing else gets done, that's the most important thing. Of course, I'm not talking about your workout, your PD, all that. So, that way, if nothing else got done on the worst day, if your kids come home sick and you did nail that most important thing. If you don't protect your time from your business, you guys, I have learned this the hard way so many times. Someone else will always be happy to take that time for you. I'm not talking about kids right now, but like if you don't take that time and say like, this is my power time, you are going to find that time disappears. It's just gone. It doesn't fit into every day. It's going to magically go somewhere. It will always do that. So you have to kind of get really serious about being a boss of your time. You got to not work off of anybody else's agenda. I'm going to circle back in this in a minute, just yours. Stop letting other people dictate your time and what you do. And sometimes this has been hard for me, even as I'm learning with leading a team. I've got coaches that need me all the time or have questions that I could be checking all the time. And if I did that, I would never have any time to work my own business. And it's been hard for me since I don't have a coach that was there for me. I really want to be there for you guys all the time. But I have learned the hard way so many times with so many coaches who are no longer here that I sacrificed my own business to help them build theirs, which no one was doing for me. And then so this is just an example. And then those coaches left the business anyways. So for you guys, it may not be coaches yet, but it might be clients. And you're pouring all your time into that one client who just keeps saying she's going to do it, keeps saying she's going to keep changing. And like, you haven't spent any time inviting anybody new because you're wasting all of your time talking to that one person who clearly already told you no. And maybe she will join you in the future, but that's not your best yes for your time. Okay. So have a plan, know what you're inviting to, and then you got to do it. You got to use the 5-second rule from Mel Robbins, which essentially is where you just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Because in that 5 seconds, otherwise right after 5 seconds is when your brain is going to start you talking out of it. Wow, I have time later. I'll get to that later. Oh, well, you know what? It's okay. Like, I'll do, you know, whatever. Or I'm not really sure that's the best idea. You're like, there's going to be a billion things that your brain's going to do. Your mind's going to do. 5 seconds. You got to do it. Just 5 seconds. Okay. The alarm goes off. I really don't want to get up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up. I'm starting to learn to apply it to everything. And let me tell you, I'll look at these 2 pictures. Like I told you guys, they look exactly the same. And I'm like, which picture would be better for this post? And I can take 10 minutes looking at the 2. And then I can go to an ad and be like, this font or this font, this color or this color. That was my whole power hour. And I literally got done one image. It's ridiculous. I'm wasting my own time. And I'm not going to be where Molly Mitro is if I keep doing that, right? Okay. We're going to move on from the pull, planning. But you can see that planning is super important. And it's silly to think that our challengers won't be successful without it. And we know that, and that we think that we can somehow run these businesses and not plan. Removing distractions. Just like in our challenge groups, again, when somebody finally commits, what happens so many of the times, and some of you might be too new to see this, but I see this over and over and over again. I might be talking to somebody for a year, they finally bite the bullet, they're ready to do it, they sign up, and then bam, like financial obstacle, or bam, like, they're deciding they're going to move, now they can't do it this month, or bam, their son just got sick, da, da, da. There's always, I swear, it's like Satan knows this person's about to stand down. Bam, take that. Like, okay, I see it all the time. And I talk to my clients about that. So just when you have your day carefully planned, you will be given a test. Okay, you wake up, bam, I got this. I'm going to get up early. How many times this has happened to me? I'm going to start my miracle mornings. 5 a.m. their alarm's going off. Like, 5:05, I'm in the kitchen with my coffee. And guess what? My son wakes up at 5:10. What? 2 hours early. Swear to God, it's happened to me almost every time I've tried to do it. Like, it's like something comes up. Okay, so just know that it's going to happen. And that's your first test. Are you going to stick with this? Or are you going to allow yourself to get frustrated and discouraged and then give up on it and think it's not going to work for you? Okay, it might not be that big of a thing. It might be a team member. It might be a Facebook message. It might be somebody on our team who is brand new maybe and just wants to talk all the time to you because they like you and they think that you're cool and they're already looking up to you and you're still a new coach, but like they're just going to talk to you all day long. I don't know. It might be a client, like I said, who like really likes you and wants to see you, and they're just going to sit there and message you all day long. It might be email and pop-ups, notifications, distractions, all that kind of stuff. You guys have to train yourself to look at whatever that thing is that pops up to kind of deter you and say, is this more important than A1? Okay, so is this message that just came in from this girl that's getting back to me from a Hey Girl 2 weeks ago, am I going to jot over here now, squirrel, and go respond to that message? Or no, I'm not, because it's not more important than A1. Okay, so don't give away your time then to somebody or something that should not be coming first. Sit down and turn your Facebook notifications off. Door, if you have one, closed. All tabs on your computer closed except one. That hit me when I heard this from Melanie Mitro. I was like, my husband always talks. He's like, Kim, you've got 20 tabs open on your computer. First of all, your computer can't run. Second of all, I'm overwhelmed. And then I'll find myself like skirting back and forth. Like, it's one thing if you're opening up a couple tabs of Facebook because you're like looking at someone's profile and then messaging them and then looking at someone else, whatever. But you guys, I'll have like MailChimp open and my back office open. And guess what? It overwhelms me. It distracts me. Like one tab. Okay. So door closed, notifications off. If you guys are new coaches, promise me, if you have not already done this, that your notifications for Facebook are off on this puppy. Your husband or spouse or kid or whoever will start to hate this business, and you will start to hate yourself for feeling like you are always on this thing. Okay. We had to have many conversations over here. What I don't want you to do is say, it's taking over, it's too much, I just can't do this business. Yeah, I did that too, because guess what? That's my personality, all or nothing. But you know what? It doesn't need to be that way. For me, I realized I needed to guard my time. I needed to set some business hours. There was times, you guys, I had to put this in the drawer in my kitchen because I didn't trust myself to not keep looking at it and checking it. There's people that put it on silent so that when the dinger goes out, whatever, they don't hear it. But I can tell you right now that if that thing's near to you, and if you have people like every challenge group, please, those challenge groups will be blowing up your phone. You cannot have that because our minds are trained. Those things will distract us all day long. So you need to eliminate the distractions if you want to be focused. So also one thing, okay, so another thing is closing your email, all that. But if you're on Facebook, there's a way when you go into your chat bar. Now, I don't think you can do this on your phone. If you can, I don't know how, but on Facebook on your computer, you can go up to your messages and you can go inactive. You can turn off your chat. So you can actually still send messages out and be doing your whole power hour and nobody knows you're on Facebook. Because I know that I felt that pressure. Like, I'm like, if they see me on and they're responding to me right when I message them, they're going to feel like, oh, well, why isn't she answering me or whatever? And I kind of feel, even if they don't think that, I feel like I've got to answer them right then and there. So for me, it was really good to turn that puppy off and know that they had no idea that I was on. And it allowed me to continue to go through my list. And I will tell you, as a new coach, it was hard when I would see messages coming in. You're eager, you want to, talk to people, but I realized that if I continue to do that, okay, we cannot control if somebody signs up for a challenge group or not. We cannot control if somebody decides to coach or not, or if they stop, whatever. What you can control is how many invites you send out every day. So like when I see a coach who, like Steph and I talked about this, okay, I'm going to get to Diamond. So 2 of these people have to get to Emerald. Guess what? You can help your coaches get to Emerald. You really can't control if they do. You can't control if they are going to use the day one discount script, if they are going to whatever. And you really can't just do it for everybody, as I've learned, unfortunately. Sean, is that the dog or Caleb? Okay. She's such a spastic thing. So what I've learned is that I can only control how many people I'm talking to every day. So we have to control what we can control and leave everything else to God. So I am going to control that I'm inviting 10 to 15 people to this free group every single day this week until it starts. I can't control how many people say yes, but knowing that it's a numbers game and that like 1 in 10 is going to say yes to a challenge group or whatever, if I haven't hit my goal by the end of the month, then guess what? My head's not hitting the pillow until I have gotten out the invites I need to get out to get to my goals for the month. I'm not willing to leave my goals and my income and my why and my husband being home and whether or not we can go on vacation next month up to somebody else. Hell no. So I can control it. So, okay, power hour. I spent a long time, this has been hard for me since Josh was gone, being like, oh, and you can put a sticky note over your Facebook notifications, and it's going to sound funny, but if you're on Facebook, and you got to do whatever works for you guys, don't feel stupid. If you've seen that little red thing, that little world, and it's got like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I cannot tell you how many times I sit and log in to do my power hour, and I'm working for a couple minutes, and then I see it, and I just check, like, oh, who liked something, who commented. I am wasting and losing time, and I get distracted, and it takes me a minute to get back to where I was every time I click on that little world. Ignore it. There's almost power when you start to do it too, when you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm boss of my time. Like I'm not letting anybody, like I'm doing what I need to do and I'm getting organized and I'm getting to work. You will actually love the feeling, trust me. And it won't feel so addictive. But right now, most of you probably have a very bad habit like I do. And we have to break the habit, but it's hard to break habits. So you got to replace it with something new and try doing that for at least 3 weeks. That's why I love like APs and Coach Basics and things, is it helps you develop that accountability. And we all need accountability to removing distractions. So for me, the power hour, I realized I have tried to play with my schedule for several months since Josh was born, because what was working when I had just Caleb was not working when I had Josh and Caleb. Everything got a whole lot harder. So what I realized and what I learned is that I'm going to have to I was like, okay, I'll do my workout. I'll do my Bible time in the morning. Well, guess what? I would wake up and get my coffee and open my Bible, and I was exhausted still. And that was just putting me like back to sleep. It was like relaxing me. And then I don't feel like God was even getting the best of me, and it wasn't all getting in. I was falling asleep. And then I'd be upset that I spent like an hour in the Bible, but I didn't feel like I soaked anything up. And now my kids are getting up and nothing got done. So I realized, guess what? Halfway through the day as a mom, I'm already kind of drained from whether it's disrespect, crying, changing diapers. That's when I need my Jesus time to get through the rest of the day. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to wake up and let me try to do my workout first thing in the morning. So I tried that. Well, guess what? I'm really not a morning person at all, but I'm definitely not a morning workout person. I feel extra tired. I feel like I'm not nailing my workout. And I do feel better. I feel energized and everything after that, the rest of the day. But I just don't feel like so I've played with that. today what I did really worked for me, and I'm going to stick with this for a week or two and see how this goes. And for me, I know Melanie Mitchell gets up and her alarm goes off at 5, and you guys, she takes her Energize and she works. I think she does a devotion and she works out, and then she does her power hour, and then her kids are getting up. You can try whatever works for you. But for me, I don't know that workout is really working. I keep trying to make it happen. And I am going to go back to it because a lot of success books are saying that needs to be part of like your miracle morning as your workout. But for right now, I know that today getting a lot of work done early before the kids got up was really good for me because I can do a workout in front of them. One of them can have an iPad or one of them can be crawling around and I can actually figure that out. But I can't work and be focused when someone's crawling and someone's hanging. And so I'm just distracted. So you have to figure out what works for you when you can work undistracted. That's when you're going to schedule your power hour for the week. And try to set it down, you guys. You might write it on paper and you might fail. You might botch this up. It might not happen. That's okay. It's not going to be perfect overnight. It's like when you start making a budget, you're not going to be perfect. But take your calendar out and say, okay, my power hour is going to be from 11:30 to 12:30, or it's going to be from 6 to 7 in the morning, or it's going to be from 8 to 9 at night, or 9 to 10 at night. Depends on your schedule, your family, all that stuff. I did my power a lot of times at night after Keelan went to bed because Sean was at work anyways, and I didn't feel the pressure to relax with my spouse or whatever. Like would have been nice to, but didn't have that, so I got to work. Then I need you guys to set a timer. Just humor me and try it. You can find ones on YouTube or different coaches have shared different ones that are actually already set for a power hour, like 5 minutes for like your adding friends. And it'll like, I don't know about you, but that created like and it might be too much where you're like, oh, and you get frastic and then you don't even do anything, but try it for a few times. Obviously never try something once and see if it works for you. You can also do it on your phone yourself. If you're kind of good with numbers and that, you can look at your power hour and say, okay, the inviting is going to take me longer or whatever. The hey girl, or doing a add friends, I only need like 4 minutes to add like a bunch of friends. Okay, my hey girls, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes to scroll their page, see what we have in common, craft a little message, and send 3 or 5 of those. And by the way, if you are looking to make significant income in this business, if you are not looking for an average business, then you should not be inviting 3 people a day and messaging 3 people a day and adding 3 friends. You need to do what I did, which was make 5 to 6 my minimum. So I made a power of 5 document in our team page, and that was my 5 friends a day, 5 invites a day. You need to like 10x your business. If that's what you want to do, if you've got huge financial goals, you simply up the bar for yourself. And honestly, when you're already doing it and in the zone, it doesn't take that much longer, especially when some of them are copy and paste. But that's what I did to get where I am. So then after you set your timer, maybe you're a music person. Maybe, can you guys see me okay? Am I okay? My computer seemed funky. So you might want to have music on in the background when you get into the zone. Maybe you're that kind of person. Maybe you need silence. Maybe you need white noise. I don't know. But one thing I will give you as a tip is do not do what I tried to do, which was multitask my life away and listen to my personal development while I was doing it. Because guess what? The PD wasn't soaking in, so it wasn't doing anything. I wasn't writing it down, implementing it, taking it. I was barely hearing it. Tried listening to wake-up calls. Guess what? I missed half of it because I was trying to do, when I try to listen to a training as I'm writing this and as I'm doing that, nothing gets done well. And one of the things I'm hearing from Mel Robbins and a lot of these top motivational speakers right now is that we are sacrificing our productivity on the altar of multitasking. We're a multitasking society. Like we are and guess what? Like we're driving and we're banking as we're doing that. And honestly, we are more anxious and more stressed, more everything than we've ever been. And it's amazing to me when I talk to these women, they're like, I don't have time to run this business. I don't have time to grow business. I don't even have time to work out. What I love seeing is when they come in and like all of a sudden they start nailing their workouts, and then maybe they're doing 2 a day, and then they become a coach, and all of a sudden they have time to coach. Because guess what? They're starting to learn that they can have that harness, like they can harness their own time. They have that power. Every time I hear somebody tell me they don't have the time, I log on to Facebook, and every time I log on, that client is on. Or I'm getting an invite to play Candy Crush. Like they are literally losing it. Social media is and I'm not trying to make anybody on here feel bad, because I do this too. And I'm learning to do it less. I don't play any of those games. I don't any of that stuff, but we all will lose time in our own places. So you have to start to become self-aware and snap yourself out of it. Be like, oh my gosh, stop. You're on Pinterest again, scrolling for the house that you don't have, for the rooms that you don't have. Like stop. You're distracting yourself from what you need to do because maybe you're scared. Maybe you're afraid of failing. Maybe you're afraid of sending an invite. Stop. Launch my hand. Let's do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do it. So, trying to do too many things at once is not going to allow you to do any one thing well. It's going to kill your productivity. So, give yourself a time limit, focus on one task at a time, and then move on. When it's done, check it off, move on. If you're a list person, check it off, move on. Keep glancing at the clock to stay on time. You've got to stay on yourself, because your work, get this was a huge takeaway from me from Mel Robbins, your work will expand to whatever time you give it. So if a newspaper called you tomorrow and was like, Nikita, girl, you're an amazing writer, da, 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 we've got an article, we want you, we need, you know, we need you to write this article about, you know, like your job and da, 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 can you do it for us? And you're like, yeah, of course. When do you need it by? And they're like, Sunday. You're like, okay, I'll have it done by Sunday. Well, guess what? If you got that same call and they asked you and you said, yeah, and they're like, when do you need it by? And they said tomorrow. Okay, you'd have it done tomorrow. Maybe you wouldn't go to bed. Maybe you'd take off work tomorrow. I don't know, but guess what? You'd have it done tomorrow. So that's the thing that we have to think about, is that like your work will expand. So if you tell yourself you have an hour to do your power hour, it's going to take an hour or more. If you tell yourself that you've got to get that power hour in 30 minutes today, guess what, you guys, I've done it. Like when I've been like, I don't have any more time, like under the gun, I've absolutely done it. And I've done it when I've had an image that I post, I need to go up, I'm like, wow, I just forgot it. And I make a super quick image. That's what you need to do more. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to get out there. You'll get better at doing it quicker with time, but at the beginning, you just need to put it out there. And the most important thing that you can be doing when you're going to be building your business is writing. So the last thing I want to see is that, you know, you're bantering back with Joe and Kathy and da-da-da from these Hey Girls a week old and no inviting got done today. Like I should see in an AP, like your workout, your whatever, invites 5, everything else, nothing if you couldn't get to anything else. It should never be 5 Hey Girls, 5. Well, okay, I shouldn't say that because there have been times when I feel like I had not built relationships enough and I needed to pull back on the inviting because I had to build my relationships first. But guess what? I wasn't just doing 10 then. I was doing like 15 so that I could get back to that place where I could immediately start to invite all those people. So, okay, have okay, don't allow yourself to get distracted by other people's messages coming back to you. Like I said, you have to keep going. You'll get better at that as you go. Trust me, it's going to feel weird. It's going to be, you know, just keep moving. All those dings, the red things, the notifications, the pop, they are all distracting. So that's why we have to minimize. Otherwise, you'll go back and forth with one person, like I said, for forever. Then they don't even purchase. And then you're like, crap, you know, I've got none of my inviting done and I'm not where I want to be with my goals. Distracting ourselves is a behavior and it's habitual. I said, if you keep checking Facebook every 5 minutes, you guys, and I do this a lot. Like my phone, I'll just grab it, check. What am I even checking for? I don't even know. Does it matter to my life? No. Do these people, the number of likes I'm getting? Like it's easy to get tied to that stuff in Beachbody. It doesn't matter. Like I get messages all the time from people that like they love my stuff. They don't like it. They don't comment on it. So why do I care to check my phone 18 million times a day to see how many likes I have on my post? It's a bad habit. It just needs to be broken. So, if you're on Facebook all the time, if you're constantly responding to my messages 5 minutes after I send it to you, or 3 minutes, or 2 minutes, or 1 minute, guess what I know? You're on Facebook way too much. And I don't want you to do that. You gotta set a business hour. You gotta set maybe 2-3 times a day you're gonna check in, and then that's it. Okay, so you have to stop paying attention to what's not most important and sacrificing what's most important or what's not. It sounds easy to say. It's really hard to do, but you just got to put it in motion and start practicing it. Social media will make us less productive. Maybe remove, you guys, I got to the point a couple weeks ago where I removed Facebook Messenger from my phone. Because I was like, I still need to post on social media, but I'm going to remove the messenger and I'm only going to open up my computer to do my power hour when I sit down, and that's when I'm going to message everyone back. Because it got to the point that I was answering my coaches and answering my clients all day, every day, and my kids were sitting there asking for mommy, and I wasn't focused and I wasn't present, and then I wasn't even getting my inviting done, and I was driving myself into a wall because I was making myself accessible 24/7. Don't do it. Set your own boundaries and don't feel bad about it or selfish about it. You guys, you've got lives to protect. I never asked you to sign up for this business to do it all the time. But it's very easy for you to fall into bad habits because our businesses are built on social media. So we have to be careful that we're not getting distracted on there and that we're making that time that we have count. I would love to see you on social media an hour a day and then your challenge group 15-20 minutes a day, and you to be done with that. Unless you're going to 10x your business and maybe it's more like 2 hours a day. But that's really all that you need. So all those tiny little check-ins add up to hours over the course of a day. It's that second workout you could have gotten in. It's that workout you missed, but you gave your time away to something that didn't matter. Okay, so, and also remember to realize how unimportant that stuff is to your life. When I catch myself and I'm scrolling and all of a sudden I'm like in somebody's that I went to like grade school with and I'm looking through their vacation photos. Why? I'm not friends with this person. I don't know what like, why am I scrolling through vacation? And also, you guys, this stuff creates anxiety. It creates comparison, like a comparison trap, and none of this stuff is good. Social media is awesome. We know that. It adds a lot of value to my life. I look at what it's done for my family, like how I've used it. But you just got to be smart about it and kind of take back control of it. So, become a boss of your mornings. This is huge. So, you need to run the day, or the day is going to run you. And that's something I realized as a mom is I felt like I was always running behind ever since I had Josh, running late. Like everything wasn't, I had no plan for the day. I didn't have the day mapped out. It was like the day was definitely running me. And I just couldn't feel like I could catch up. Yeah, she feels me. Okay. So I recently realized I actually have this under a picture of myself working out from last week where I was running. I just didn't post it yet, where I was like, run the day or the day will run you. Because seriously, and feel free, you guys, you can use any of this stuff always. That is like, I'm like, that's what I need to learn. That's what I want to share with other like moms. And I'm like, I got to create a group or something where I can share like ways to organize the cleaning and that, because seriously, we need to run our day, and in our businesses, we need to do that. So the first 2 to 3 hours of the day are the best hours for your brain. That's your peak productivity. It doesn't matter if you're a morning person or not. That's your peak productivity. So that is really when you should be doing like your, whether it's creating challenges, your power hour, whatever, if you can. However, before jumping into work, this is like the Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod is great. And this I got out of Mel Robbins, but she has some really awesome tips for how you can run your morning and how you can start a much better morning routine. And it starts with this. So she taught me to leave this puppy in the bathroom off of our bedroom with the alarm on, and to set like, 2 or whatever, so I don't ever sleep. This is not near me. And I'm seeing some top coaches who do 2 hours of personal development a day, sharing how they've committed to not check this thing for an hour before bed or an hour after waking up. And that might sound insane because most people are scrolling their newsfeed. But you guys, I've been thinking like, this is such a terrible year. This is really stimulating at night to have this light and have it so bright and whatever, and in your eyes and da-da. Is really the last thing you want to think about before you go to bed is what Susie wore to that wedding last night and what that neighbor, where she went on vacation? No. Like, and for those of us who are like, gosh, God, I don't have any time to talk to you right now, or to open my Bible, or I don't have any time to finish that book I've been wanting to read, or I haven't spent any time with my husband, or we haven't been intimate in 3 weeks, but you know what? I don't have any time. Okay, maybe that last 30 minutes before bed, then you could be a much better use of your time than scrolling this puppy. So like I as I started to read this, I was like, man, I got off track again. And I am like getting heated up. That is, leave it in your, if you can, just try this. The one day I did it, you guys, I literally felt like a totally different person. And I don't mean that I only did it once, but the first day I did it. So I left that in my bathroom, and guess what she said? It forces you to get up out of bed. You cannot roll over. How many people have done this when they've tried to get up early in the morning and you hit the snooze and you go back to bed? This happened to me for a straight week, almost 2 weeks, that I did that. No joke. Like I rolled over until I had gotten this part of the book, and then I was like, oh, I was doing that wrong. So I put it in the bathroom, and it did. It forced me to get up. She also said, like, put on the light right away or something like that so that it like kind of wakes you up. And then she said, when you turn off your alarm, you don't look at this. So I don't know, you guys can write this down if you want to, but it was like put phone in bedroom, or put phone in the bathroom and have your alarm go off there. Then you get up to turn it off, and she said you brush your teeth. As you brush your teeth, you're thinking about, you still have not looked at your phone, 2 things that you need to do that morning. Like 2 things, and not necessarily really like for your business, I don't know how to say this, like for your job, so to say, but like maybe something you've been meaning to do forever. Like for me, it might be this free ebook that for a year I've been saying I'm going to put on my like page and still haven't done. Like, or blogging. Like I just want to blog. I love writing. It keeps not making the cut. I need to get more intentional about it. So you know what? I'm going to blog for 10 minutes this morning. Maybe it's not even that the whole blog post is going to get done, but I'm just going to start. The start is the hardest part, you guys, right? So start. So those 2 things that I'm going to do. She's like, when I walk up to the kitchen, and I start the cup of coffee, I pour it, I make it, whatever, I have it, and I go sit down. Now, still, she's like, have not looked at my phone. And one of her big things is she's like, do you think these millionaire business owners, all these people, everybody at the very top, do you think they get out of bed in the morning and they're scrolling like social media? She's like, no, they have important lives with tons of to-dos and lots to do. They have something better than like, she's like, how many times have you had it happen that you hop on and you're scrolling somebody's page and all of a sudden you're here and then you're there and then you're on an advertisement and you're signed up, you're looking at some new t-shirts and a pair, like whatever. How does it even happen? It happens. Like those people know that they can't do that. They have to be a boss of their time. So it starts with your morning routine. And Hal Elrod teaches something that is that Miracle Morning, and it's like 6 steps or whatever. And one of mine, one part of that is daily affirmation. So I would wake up and I would have my cup of coffee and I would go out, and then she says that you should like do some kind of movement, like a workout or something, and then shower. And then you get to, your work. And she talks about taking like 30 before 30, like 30 minutes that are just for you. And it, for me, like my personal development, and I don't how Elrod teaches, like that you're doing some deep breathing. And there's a 6-minute Miracle Morning you guys can look up too. This could totally transform your day because your entire day is dictated by how you spend that first like 30 whatever minutes in the morning. it's the morning routine. Everybody that you find that's on the top of any company or anything, any athlete, anybody will tell you the power of a morning routine. And as a stay-at-home mom, I can tell you I'm learning the power of a morning routine. Drastically different than when I wake up, when the kids wake up and I already feel behind and So there's positive affirmations, and I found ones that were really good for me. Like one, for example, one of the ones I found was like, I am prosperous. My life works. Inspiration radiates from me to others. I am a shining example of spiritual and physical well-being. And then there's one that was like, whatever I need to know is revealed to me. Whatever I need to have comes to me. Whatever God leads me to is exactly where I need to be. And then the very top one is the perfect one for me. I trust that everything comes at the perfect time and in the perfect way. But there's like 2 pages of things that I will read over and kind of recite. And then there's the breathing, there's the affirmations, and the personal development. That's when I put that in. And you guys have had my cup of coffee. Can you even imagine? Like for all of us, I feel like we're running every day and everybody's asking something for us and we always have things we have to do. This is your time. And gosh, it's worth getting up 30 minutes early. I'd rather, as a sleep-deprived mom with a baby who literally just slept through the night for the first time last night, pretty much, I can tell you that even in the midst of all of that exhaustion, it was so worth getting up 30 or 45 minutes early. And now I'm doing it more like 5:30, and my kids didn't get up till 7:30 today. So that was 2 hours. And of course he slept through the night. And I was like, I actually got a full night's sleep. I remember what that's like, but it was still worth it. But that feeling of my power hour was done early. It changed my whole day. I know that I did what I needed to do today to get to where I want to be tomorrow, so it is so important that you find like a morning routine that works for you. And I highly recommend either of those 2 books, Miracle Morning or 5-Second Rule. And 5-Second Rule is one that you can listen to and like Audible, but honestly, I had to stop all the time to write stuff down because it was so good. Same thing with Miracle Morning. So you'll find, because of that peak productivity, that's when you want to, have that time for you, but also hopefully that you can find that time to work. And you guys really want to obviously prioritize your time. Think in this business of the high return activities. It's inviting. And every single time I hear like a top coach talking, she's like, why my coaches, like a lot of my new coaches are struggling, it's because they're constantly placing those not important activities over the ones that are. And most of the time it's because of comfort zones and out of fear of like inviting or being rejected or whatever. We have to just put ourselves out there. One thing that helped me is to be like, okay, if so-and-so rejects me, or if so-and-so says no to me, or if so-and-so is annoyed by me or whatever, am I willing, if I think for 2 things, once you have somebody that you've helped. Okay, so Andrea, who lost 60 pounds with me, was my first client. She posted in our group when she was able to put her wedding dress on for the first time. She posted a picture of her. She had never been able to fit back into it since the wedding. And the day that she went to the amusement park with her son and she could actually fit the seatbelt, she could actually keep up with her son, which was one thing. She's like, I so enjoyed that day with him versus watching him do everything. And that I could fit the seatbelt on the roller coaster around me so I could ride it with him. I bawled when I read that post, and I was like, so if I would have held back in fear from inviting her to this group, and she told me no, she didn't think this was for her. She was in a free group and had a great time and rocked it. And then she went and did her own thing again for a couple months. And then and then she reached back out. But guess what? And I think even she came to me at one point, to get started, and I had to walk her through some stuff, and she was really nervous about the shake. Like, would I have been am I okay about her whole life and that little kid's life and her husband's life because I didn't know I'm not okay. And then the bigger thing for me, even than that, was, am I okay with my husband continuing to go to work every day, all day, for the rest of his life, like he's been doing since he was 16, because he grew up in a house of violence with a whole lot of bad things. And guess what? He didn't see any way out. There was no way out. He was his way out, and he had to work hard enough, and he was willing to do that. And he's been working that hard ever since. No friends, no life, no nothing, just work and the gym and work and the gym until us. And I'm tired. I was so tired of seeing him be so jaundiced and look so unhealthy, because all he was doing was called in because he's the hardest worker in the world. So anyone's going to take advantage of that. And it happened everywhere he went. And our kids were missing their daddy. And I was going to bed alone every night. And it killed me. It killed me enough that I got to work. And I stopped caring so much about what other people thought of me. And I know how many people need this help. I know it. And so why would I ever not do the thing that's going to help my family and help other people? So invite. And if you do nothing else in a day outside of your own workout and your shake and check-ins, just invite. It doesn't have to be perfectly worded. There's going to be people that say no. There's going to be people that shut you down. But think about why you needed this. There's all different reasons people need this. And a lot of times, most of the time, it's not even physical. They need friends. they need social interaction, they need like it's everything. So prioritize those high return activities, and like advertising for a challenge group, over, and not sitting there and crafting an hour-long thing on PicMonkey. And I only use that as an example because it's an easy one to think of, and it's one that I've done so many times. It's an area of weakness for me. And honestly, like I could go into a group on Facebook, like a mom's group, and be like, okay, I'm supposed to engage in groups. And I can look for posts and scroll through and comment and like on stuff, and I haven't actually done anything. Like if I only have that 20, 30 minutes, then I need to be inviting. I need to not be, if I have extra time where I can be, it's part of it. But again, that's where the timer comes in. And for me, I'm a procrastinator, so I need to work under the gun, because I could sit there and be like 30 minutes is gone, and I just interacted in some groups, didn't even add a friend or message somebody or send an invite. My time. I think that is pretty much all I have for tonight. Let me see if I skipped anything really important, but I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna unmute you guys, and I'm sorry because I said it wasn't going to be that long, and then somehow I managed to do it again anyways. So unmute everybody, and does anybody have any, oh, she was saying the biggest reason we procrastinate things like, what Mel Robbins in her thing I was listening to, the 5-second rule, was about, because we actually feel stress. So in our life, so maybe you feel like a financial stress. And then because you feel that financial stress, what you do is you're like, okay, well, I'm just gonna, like, I'm gonna procrastinate. Like, so you log into Facebook and you're like, no, I'm just gonna like scroll. This is how I'm like gonna come down off the day. Like, you can just distract yourself from doing what you actually need to do. And she's like, so one of the first things you need to do is honestly just take the pressure off and just take a deep breath. Okay. Maybe you feel like you've been riding yourself all day long. Somebody else is riding all day long. You're so, and that you just literally need to breathe, to forgive yourself for something, maybe for not being enough, or not doing enough, or whatever it is you think you need, and for that stress and that fight, and then just like, so let it go. And then, take that time to do something positive, stretch your legs, and then come back to it. But that typically, that's why we're doing that, is because we feel stressed. Yeah, I think I covered mostly everything. There was so much I wanted to say on this, you guys. Like, so much I've been learning, so much in the business. But did any of that, or all of that? Oh, and I think I mentioned about, letting people, when I said don't feel like you have to message them right back when they're messaging you. It is totally okay for a message to sit in your inbox for 8 hours or for 10 hours. And let me tell you why. Not only because I don't want you to be tied to your phone, but something that was an aha moment for me as a new coach, you guys. This was me. If this is you, this was me. I got back to everybody instantly. I, like, all my messages, I was constantly like, I never let something sit there. I never, ever, ever, ever did. And my coach saw it. She knew it was a warning sign back at the beginning when she was still coaching and talking to me. And she was telling me like how I was working like too hard and too much all the time. And I was like, who are you to tell me that, this is what I have to change it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not sure that some of her words and stuff was right, but what I do know is that she did have my best interest at heart, and she saw that I was forming some bad habits off the get-go that made me feel very overwhelmed and very burnt out. Marissa said she was really not feeling well and had to hop off. So, I did learn that one thing too is you got to remember that you're looking at it from your perspective, and you're thinking, I'm being a really hard worker. Everyone is thinking that I'm a hard worker and I'm going to be a great coach, and they're going to want to work with me because I'm getting right back to them. Well, there's another side to that. These people in your challenge groups are going to potentially be coaches in the future. And guess what they're going to think? They're going to think that they have to be on social media 24/7 to make this business work. If you're on social media 24/7, if every single time they send a message, you instantly get back, they're going to think that they would need to instantly get back to everybody. And guess what? I recently had somebody tell me that it was a few months ago that she's like, you are amazing. And you like, well, I don't know how you're doing this. Like, you're posting here and you're doing this there and you're doing your workouts and she's like, she is my ideal coach, you guys. I've been talking to her. I'm so excited about her for months. She is literally like my ideal coach. I prayed for like somebody like this in certain ways, because she wants to make like $50,000 with the business in her first year. She's a really strong Christian believer in God. We have a lot in common. We do the home birth. She works for a chiropractic. She's got all the health and wellness stuff. I think she'd be amazing. And right now she's super intimidated and scared because she feels like I'm doing all this stuff and I've set this bar that she couldn't possibly be there or reach that. So I've heard some wake-up calls where a very top coach now making $20,000, $30,000 a week said that they were against coaching. They were not interested in it. They weren't interested in the shape, And somebody kept telling them you'd be a great coach, And they were like, not interested. And then she said the one day that she called her coach for something, and she got an automatic message that said, I'm sorry, I don't work on Sundays. I spend the day with my family. I'll be getting back to you tomorrow or whatever. That was the aha moment for her. And she said that was when she decided, like, this is legit. And if I was going to join somebody's team, it would be this. Like, that's something I can do. If time with family is prioritized, and like, you know, this person isn't just trying to get a sale every day of the week, like, that's something I can get behind. And she signed up, and now she's a huge coach. Can you imagine? This one coach probably completely made his business. Because he wasn't willing to sacrifice what was most important to him. And so I don't want you ladies to form the habits of doing that early. And that like, the distraction thing is huge, but also, you know, giving your time away. I want you to make sure that you stay. And I, like, Curie, you're doing a great job right now. You were feeling overwhelmed. And so you knew, like, I needed to unplug for the rest of the day. I need to be with my family. I need to get outside. And that's so good. Melissa told me that she was deleting apps off of her phone already. She was deleting, like, games and things that were wasting her time, because she now knows she needs to take back control and use that time to build her business. And it's awesome stuff, you guys. Like, focus on that stuff that you're doing right, and don't lose that stuff. Carrie knew she needed a lot of extra personal development this weekend. I wish I would have known that as a new coach. I did the opposite. I worked harder, and I burnt myself out. So,
well,
any questions?
I have, and I don't know what this personality trait, I don't even know what you would call it, but like, because I sit at my desk all day long, and I work off of my phone. So because my boss is lazy and he won't send me a phone that goes off data, so I have to use my cell phone for my work phone, which drives me absolutely crazy, but I have no choice. So it sits here all day long. Like with my job, I work off a task list. So every day when I log in, I have this task list of like a million things to do. So, and it overwhelms me because there's so much on there. But then my phone, when I get messages like text messages or emails or Facebook messages, if I don't check it and respond to it, which I've trained myself to do in my regular job, I'm more overwhelmed, because then I feel like I have all these unanswered things sitting there. So I feel like I have to log on, address it, and then I'm done. I'm done. I move on to the next. And so it's like a really bad habit, but in a way it's actually helps keep my anxiety under control. But I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing. So I guess I need to kind of zone into that a little bit.
Yeah.
But, and with the Facebook thing, it probably shows I'm on there all day long too. But you know what I do? I looked up all the top 10 diamond coaches in that, like, their elite thing. And I've been Facebook stalking them. So I sit there and I listen to their videos while I work from Facebook. So I sound like a total creep, but that's what I do. And I just absorb and I just listen, like, a lot during the day while I'm working, because I do a lot of data entry. So sometimes that part's easy when my phone's not ringing. So
yeah.
that's
really cool. If you can do whatever job that you're doing, and it's not like, I have had a lot of times where I've been like meal prepping or like and I'm listening to training calls. Like, my husband has seen me in there cleaning up, doing the dishes, earbuds in, absolutely. Because that's stuff that I feel, the only time that it gets me tripped up is when it's something that's that, like, there was an Instagram training and she was talking all about different hashtags, and I had to keep stopping. It was ridiculous. I should have just stopped what I was doing and sat down, because I had to write down so much to reference back to be able to know how to do it and where to go and stuff. Like, I couldn't possibly listen to a call like my coach Amanda had ran about MailChimp and how to, like, export from Excel or export from our back office into Excel and import that into the MailChimp and then be able to email all these, like, there was so many steps, and I had to be visually, like, kept pulling up the video and watching it and doing it. There's no way. But for the things that you can, that's my alarm to tell me to go to bed so that I get my full whatever of sleep to wake up. There's something funny on the phone. It started doing it. It's hysterical. But I think that's great that you're doing that. And I do think it's great if you can be somebody. No, I also watched a lot of the top coaches beginning, right? But I keep having a struggle where I start to do it and I start to feel anxiety that they're doing everything right and they're doing everything good and they're doing everything better than me and I'm not doing it that well. And then I try to do what they're doing and then it's not authentic to me and then it's not working with my network. And so if you can do that without, like, having that happen, that's awesome. And everybody trains their new coaches absolutely to follow some of the top coaches for at least their first month or two. But then I've heard a lot of the top coaches, like Amy Silverman's one of the top ones, and she says after that, like, second or third month, unfollow them, just so that you start to find your own voice and not
Right.
like that.
I guess that's kind of what I'm kind of absorbing everything, and then I'll jot down like quick little notes that I can play off of, like to try to find something interesting or something I can use without using theirs. So
Exactly.
everything I do, I'm like a sponge. I have to absorb, and then eventually it comes back out. And it sucks because it puts me at a slow rate for a long time at doing stuff. But, I did it when I managed an office for 10 years, and I did the exact same thing there. And it's, I don't know, I guess it's just what I know how to do.
Yeah.
But
that's good, though. It works for you, and I think that's good.
And that's why I use Excel spreadsheets for literally everything. I love them. You can hit F11 or F12. It turns it into a pie graph. Like, I love it. But that's all I know.
Carrie knows how to use Excel. Praise God.
Oh,
I can't even tell you. I'm so excited about the things. Jessica, in our whole thing, you guys both know that she created that image for the daily check-in.
Yeah.
I've been coaching for 2.5 freaking years. Why did that never cross my mind? I'm so excited for people. You guys, it took me 2 years to get to a point where I'm getting coaches who are actually trying to add something to the team. Like, everybody would take all of my stuff, all of my work, all of my scripts, all of everything, and nobody would ever add anything. Nobody would ever be like, I have an idea. I'm like, I need the ideas. I am done with so much of this stuff. I can't figure out how to get my PowerPoint presentation to pull up. I can't remember where to mute people on Zoom. I've been doing this 2.5 years. I am so bad with technology. I'm so bad with it is ridiculous how bad I am with certain things. I nail people skills. I can build relationships all day long, and everybody wants to sign up with me because they love me. They just fall in love with me, and they want to join, whatever. They want to do whatever I'm doing. Awesome. Other people need that. But you know what? All the other stuff, I can't for my team. I want to create so much content for you guys and do things, and I feel like I can't, but it takes me forever, and I don't know how to do it. I'm currently trying to figure out just how to make these things, in Excel, that a lot of the coaches do for, the month, and they'll put, I don't even know how to make the cells where, I could have where I change the month every month, whether it's August, September, October, whatever, but then it would just say, the client's name, and then I want to create, where the columns are, hey girl, so I can check it. I've sent this person a hey girl. And then the next column might be an invite. The next column would be and whether or not they're interested. I can check off if they're interested or not. And then, if I sent them and I did a follow-up, and then there'd be a column where what program they're interested in, what their hesitations are, and then a date where if they start. I want something like that I can, and I've heard this from all the coaches. I have all the ideas.
Send me a list of what you wanted to say. I can do it in 5 minutes, seriously, and I'll send it back to you, and then just go with it. Because my last job, I had to create legal forms on Excel. I love it, and they sent me to an Excel class, and I forgot a lot of it. I did, but I don't really know how to use Word very well, so I'll replace Word with Excel because I can figure out Excel. I know it's weird, but formulas and Dan's business, I have to do all that.
That's awesome. See, everybody brings different strengths to the team and to their businesses, and I love that. And it's so cool that as you guys start to grow your own teams, have the same things happen, which is why I want free groups and challenge groups to be paired up, because certain people are better at certain things, and then they run really well.
Well, just send me a list of columns you want. It'll seriously take 5 minutes, and I'll just send it back to you, and then you can use it for whatever you want.
I tend to be the little leech where I hide out in the groups, the corporate groups, and I take whatever. Ashley Smith, I was the one, she talked at Super Saturday, and it was canceled because of the weather last year in January. It was so inclement. I was super pregnant too. And so I was curled up on the couch with my tea, and she shared this thing, and she shared about how she does this tracker, and she held it up and whatever. You better believe I messaged her immediately after that call, and I was like, would you be willing to share that tracker? And then guess what? She was on another elite call that I was on several weeks ago. We're not elite yet, but in our elite push groups with that I'm in. And I hopped on a call with her, and it was awesome. I took all these notes and I shared it with the whole team somewhere. And then she shared how she had this challenge group script, and hence ding, ding, ding. It's the one we've been using. Well, guess who got that puppy? I was like, hey, Ashley. So I know that she said she was going to share it, but then she didn't share it. I'm like, well, let me just give her a date. She's probably busy. Didn't see the next day. Then I made a comment and I tagged her in it. And like, she didn't answer. And then I was like, has anybody else seen Ashley Smith? Like, guys, like, Stephanie laughs at me because she's like, you're like a pest when you want something. I'm like, you gotta understand, I didn't have anybody handing me anything. I've had to go and find everything on my own. And I'm one person. So I always, and granted, it's all there from Beachbody anyways. I'll teach you guys to not reinvent the wheel. And then I find myself trying to do it all the time. Like, I have to make all these videos my own. I was like, no, do you want to know why Ashley Smith is where she is? She literally created a Google Drive. As she went and created something, she just put it into a Word document and saved it into her thing, saved it into the computer. And then she would just let her coaches have the link. I was all stressing that I needed to have this whole team website. It was on my goal board forever that I needed to make every single video for Coach Basics training by myself, that I needed to No, like, she didn't do any of that. She simply plugged people into her uplines training, which I realize I don't have. But like, she just plugged people in. She just handed down the information. She wasn't like recreating everything herself. And then that opened up all that time to work her own business and to be talking to a bazillion people every day. And that's how she got there, you know? So it's like, you just got to be smart with our time. But I think that, I keep hearing her, I listened to an organizational call from her that I'm using to help create the content for the next group, and some other stuff, and then my own things that I've learned and tips. And Melanie Mitro, I listened to one of hers too. And the one thing in common with all the coaches, they say you not only have to have some kind of tracking system, whether you're using Teamzy or Streak or whatever. And I, like, even just hearing those, I'm like, I don't know, it's overwhelming. I don't know how to do any of it. But a lot of them say to use an Excel spreadsheet. And at the very least, my coach did that, where she's like, you know, have that kind of a tracking where you can, and that would be so helpful because I forget all the time. I would love to have a binder if it was, you know.
Yep, no, and that's what I'm using right now with all my new coaches. I like set up a reminder because I know some of them wanted the discount coach and they really don't want to do the $14.95. So I'm just gonna, I made a little column there that says on this day I need to talk to them. Are you gonna finish coaching? Do you want to keep Shakeology? Do you want to do this, or we need to do something else? Whatever.
Okay.
I don't want them to get pissed off and be like, you know, you didn't, whatever. But just little.
Do you remember that now Beachbody does send a reminder 4 or 5 days before it ships? So they should never, because in the beginning, they didn't do that for like my first more than a year and a half. And there was a random person or two that I would slip up and miss. And it looked so bad on me and I felt so bad. But Beachbody does do that. But what I like to do is do those weekly follow-ups in a PM to see like how they're liking the shake. And then if they're noticing the benefits of the shake. And then by week 3, between the challenge group being awesome, loving the shake, knowing that it's working for them, and they've seen these changes, they're usually ready to upgrade to that for free. So,
and I think that I really do think that they'll all stay on it, except for Monica. You would die. I should send you guys this picture. Her boyfriend just let Shakeology come to the house for like a year, and he never opened it. So she pulled out these boxes. She sent me a picture, and it's a stack like 12 high of unopened boxes of Shakeology. I was like, oh my God, you're sitting on like a gold mine. Like, that's like $1,200 in Shakeology that's never been touched. She's like, yeah, I'm good for a while. Like, oh my God. He just canceled his recurring thing like a couple months ago.
wow.
And all this, he's never even opened it. But it'll probably go faster because she's making him do everything she's doing. But it's just crazy. But I wanted to ask you, so about the things to stay consistent with social media. So I know that that's like my biggest issue is consistency in social media, which I'm still playing around with all different things to find how many likes I get for certain stuff. So I'm kind of randomly throwing stuff out there that's kind of dumb or stupid, but I want to see what kind of people are reacting to it.
That's called like split testing. That's good.
Okay,
I mean, essentially.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been doing that for weeks. And so I'm kind of keeping track of what's good and what's not. But I want to do something consistent, like you said. So I think doing like a funny dog day is a great thing because and that's the thing too, all of the scripts and everything are geared towards mommies. I have to convert everything to doggies because believe it or not, most of the people I know don't have kids. Mm-hmm. And like some of them don't even have grandkids or brothers and sisters. So they're all
I do believe that. And it's part of why I really wanted you on the team. It's also part of why Carla, she's not coaching right now, but she was somebody who was like, I'm in that age that none of you are in where I just like hit menopause. And it's really hard for me to like all the change of life stuff. And there's so many women that are going through unique things in that phase. I was like, Carla, I'm so excited to have you on the team because I can't speak to that. I haven't been through that. And because I have kids, we teach you guys and I'm teaching you and it's all in there to find your brand and your like niche, like your client, your ideal client, and yours is the fur mom, like the fur mamas and the fur baby. And that's why I was telling you that there's some very top coaches who lead with their dogs and there are some that don't have kids. And like that'll be you, and that's why you're going to attract those people.
Right, because I would say 90% of the people that either comment or like, those are all dog people. Not many of them even have kids. So like I can't work that angle like at all. It will do absolutely nothing for me whatsoever.
Right.
So, and I can't really relate. I mean, I've got two, so I can relate to some of those teenage boy issues, but not a whole lot because I've only been in their life for a couple years too. So I have to just convert everything. So I have to and I'm not witty. Like I admire people that somebody could say something and they just fire something back real witty and funny. And I am so not that. Like I'm the person that's like, dang it, why didn't I think about that? That would have been so good.
I do that too.
Wow. I have to Google like stuff sometimes to like even get an idea of how to come back. But I don't know. I'm just not good at that. But so I was thinking I wanted to do like a dog day, a recipe day, whether it be like Shakeology or regular food, and then my selfies, which is my biggest battle. So I
think you're doing really good with selfies. I just haven't seen like workout ones, but like you're really well.
And that's what I said. And I know you haven't looked at it yet because you haven't had time, but I was thinking maybe just for this one challenge group to start, I think I want to do like a kind of like a check-in photo thing, like make a little photo with a selfie of me and Shakeology, like every single day for this challenge group only, and then put what I had in my Shakeology and what workout I did, and then put like challenge day number 5 or challenge day number 6. But I don't know.
And your Facebook page?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to tell you something. You might be able to see this. If you're on Facebook right now, or if you have the window open, my success partner, just go to, you don't need to send her a friend request or anything, but type in the name. She should come up because she's a friend of mine. So her name is Lindsay Ann. It's LINDSAYANN. So that's all one word, Lindsay Ann. And her last name is Hammerland. It's HAMMARLUND. And she'll have a pink tank top on with like brown curly hair.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay, now there's a page that'll come up. That's her fitness page, but at the very top is her actual page. And I believe it's set to public. So tell me if when you start to scroll, if you can see anything.
I can see that you're her friend. I think this is her personal page.
Yeah, it should be a picture of her kids up at top, and then remembering 9/11 where we're okay, right under that. Do you see where it says 21 Day Fix Extreme?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even have to question if this would be there because I know that this is here every single day. She posts whatever her workout was, and then she'll do workout, nutrition, superfoods, performance line, water, and notes. She does this. Her whole entire social network knows that she will have a daily check-in on here every single day. Now, it's not always at the end of the day, but I have gone back and forth with whether or not I feel like that's like a good amount. I will tell you, they're never super high likes. Like, she'll post something about her kids and maybe she's got like 60 something. Also, notice, you guys, if you scroll down, she has a last call for back to you. Oh, that's funny. She has the same name. And she put, there's only 5 likes on that puppy. And the one comment is her own application. She is a 3-star diamond coach. She got there in 18 months. She retired from teaching in just over a year of Beachbody. So it shows you, it's good to realize this, people, like, you can look at what she's doing. She has a meal prep video. She's got, now this girl posts consistently like a boss, like 5 times a day. She's on Ashley's team. Ashley is her personally sponsored coach, Ashley Smith. And she has learned from her. You'll see that she does the same thing Ashley does, where the borders are around her pictures. She posts a lot about her kids, which for you would be your dog. She shows meal prep stuff. She's always trying to be really positive. She still talks about her donuts and the random things that she has. But every single day, no matter what, she almost always does a throwback Thursday of her, of who she was and like who she's becoming and how Beachbody has changed her life. Transformation Tuesday, same kind of thing. She does them a lot. But every day, she's typically always got that in there. And you'll notice that her thing, she found like a theme, is those 2 little circles, and she'll put like a thing at the top, like just do it. And then underneath it, it'll say something. Or I've seen her say like sweet summertime, or it'll say like can't take it, like his cuteness, or it'll say grace. And then she'll put something about how she's far from perfect, whatever. But she loves rocking the t-shirts with the like sayings. That's like one of her things. Like for me, it would be like my coffee mugs and my inspirational like coffee mugs. So everybody kind of finds their things. And then you lead with that. And it took me a really long time. I'm still figuring out like what mine are. I use the mom thing because I'm a mom and I'm trying to attract other moms. That's like where I am in life right now. But guess what? That wasn't what it was a few years ago. I was a yogi, a spinner, and like a runner. And I'm still that person, but right now this phase in life, I can't figure out really how to make those things work in my family. So now I'm kind of posting to where I am in this phase in life. Like Nikita, hers might be something about her hair. I mean, she's not a hair, I'm finally getting it through my head. She's not a hairstylist, but maybe hers would be like crazy hair stuff. Or maybe it would be like, everybody's just got different things. Some people lead with their tattoos and it's a huge part of their brand and they're attracting other people with tats. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So those things, you just find, and some people,
hair tattoos.
Yeah. And honestly, I had a coach who was her hair, she had like the big black afro, and she led with that, and she would get into these hair groups. She would find interest groups based on her interests. So I'm sure you're in some dogs groups and things. She would find this crazy hair group, and she would make this random post about her hair. Well, guess what? Apparently it was okay to post in there, and she posted something about a coach. Her coach opportunity. She had 250 likes and comments on that post about coaching. Like she also had, but granted, she was somebody that had that kind of stuff happen a lot, but she would post, and I was like, it just shows you that whatever you work, whatever, it can be something as silly as hair, which is why I teach you girls that although when you're new, I like it to have something to do with health and fitness and wellness. When I started to run debt-free groups, my business really took off again because I had stopped connecting with my free groups for some reason. It was just getting boring for me and then it was boring for them. But it can just be like, if you're awesome at something, like maybe you are just somebody that rocks, like you know how to crochet. Guess what? There's a lot of people that actually want to learn how to do that. One of the Beachbody coaches, Jen Richardson, I think it was her call not long ago, was awesome about doing a DIY group. And it was like 5 days of Pinterest crafts. And one girl on the team would like do one craft that she loved or that she did. She would post a picture of it with the instructions. And like she would be the one that ran that day. The next person would do the next day. And it was like a week of it and had nothing to do with Beachbody. They were simply, then they didn't have to feel bad inviting to it. Like we weird about it or something. They were connecting with these ladies throughout the week in their own PMs to get to know them and build relationships. And then by the end of the group, like when it ended, they would reach out and be like, hey, thanks again so much for being my group. I hope you had fun. Like, did you, did you try anything? Da, da, da. And then she'd be like, I don't know if this would be anything that would interest you. And she would do some kind of like warmish invite into a challenge group. And like, she's like, so many more people were interested in joining me because they had gotten to know me. And I just added value into their lives, a form of connection.
And you bring up a really good point with Facebook group, a couple hiking groups. And I didn't even think I should really go through there and just start friending those people. Like I haven't even thought to do that. Yeah,
because those are the people that you have in common. So like I spent a very long time attracting people that I didn't want on my team. It took me a while to figure out, and there's a training I'm in that I paid $300 to be in. And I got so sidetracked I think when Josh was born. And I was doing good actually right when he was born because he was, on and off sleeping and nursing all the time. But now, and I had some help at the beginning, and it's on my thing is like one video at least a week to get back to. And I will share all that content with you guys for free. I would take massive notes on it, but it's all about how to attract your tribe and how to make sure that your posts are speaking to the people that you want to reach, because nobody wants to work with like you would never want to build a team of people like your boss. You know what I mean? You like
my list of people that I am ready to go fly to California and just drag him out by the ear and give him a good talking.
Yeah. So but people you love dogs. So you would love connecting with other people who are really love their dogs and have adopted dogs or whatever. And obviously hiking as well. So you kind of just think, that's why I tell you guys from the very beginning, and there's so much information that I know it's overload, but to just really think of what makes your interest list and be like, okay, it's, to me, I just started thinking something as silly as coffee mugs. Whenever I post them, I've got so many with different sayings. People are like, where did you get that one? And I love that one. And oh my gosh, I need that mug. I am that person. My husband is going to kill me if I do this anymore. I have this stuff everywhere. Like these little motivational things and never let go of we've got them coming out in the wazoo. He's like, Kim, you would buy anything that has an inspirational quote on it. We can't have signage all over every wall in every room in our house. But that's me. And so I've learned, I just bought another one the other day. It's still in the thing. Like, and I was like, it's ridiculous. And so, but I'm learning I should lead with those things because there's other girls like me, and those are the girls I want to work with. And when I started to lead with my hot mess mom self, and I don't have makeup on, and I've got these huge missing patches, and so I've got these big headbands on, and I'm sitting in the carpool line, and I've got like zebra stripes, pajamas on, and da. Those moms are laughing. They're with me. They're coming. They're posting, and I don't care about being there because I'm not trying to reach the glamazon mom who's in the carpool line with her time because she's not me. So like as I'm putting out me, I'm attracting me, and then that's really cool because I find women that have maybe some of the same insecurities or fears, and they need this in the same way I did, or I just enjoy talking to them, So it definitely helps when we just learn from the get-go to just be ourselves, because then you're going to attract the people that you want. And it can be just silly. Like if you're somebody that always paints your nails and you change your color like 5 times a week because you just love it, take a picture of your nails and be like, Nail Friday, like, what day today, you know what I mean? Or just lead with that. Like Stephanie is a very makeup person. She could like own Sephora. Like she literally, and you guys can see she works that. She's hashtagging like makeup mom and da. That's her thing. And people know, and she'll sprinkle on her live videos. She's like, come get ready with me. And she'll be talking about personal development for next challenge group. Or like she's sprinkling that stuff in. So, you just find what is your interest, but definitely getting into those interest groups. A lot of the people that I helped in moms groups, I got so involved in the Atlanta Mommies one down here. And yes, there will be other Beachbody coaches in some of these groups for sure. But how you do it well and different is that you're not just kind of like waiting for the end to talk about Beachbody. You're just in there like interacting with people, adding value, and they'll get to know you. And honestly, when I would start to banter back and forth with a mom, like maybe somebody posted a question about like, are there any great Christian parenting books out there? And I'd be like, I just finished blah, 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 Shepherding a Child's Heart by Tripp. And then, Grace-Based Parenting, I would highly recommend it all. And they'd be like, thanks. And I'd be like, sure. I mean, like, which ones have you read so far? Like I would try to kind of keep the conversation going. And if we went back and forth, at least like 2 comments, I would take it to a message. And I know that we're not friends yet, but I'm like, hopefully they see it. And so I would send them a message, and usually now it comes through as an immediate message request, and somebody will see it. And I was like, hey, I saw you were asking for those recommendations. I have a ton. If you want any more, just let me know. And I love, and maybe I shout her a friend request, and I'd be like, I love connecting with other moms, Christian moms who have the same kind of values as me. I just shot you a friend request, whatever, something like that, or something like that. I don't even say it. I just send a request and send a message. But I not only did I form a lot of cool relationships and get a lot of new friends who are in my niche market, I also developed a reputation in that group where people started, this is really cool, this is the ultimate goal. When somebody else, I can't be in these groups all the time. I miss more often than what I see. But I developed relationships with people who ended up being in my free groups and things. And then they would tag me when I got 2 different clients like a couple months ago because somebody else saw a post first that somebody was like, hey guys, has anybody in here done the 21-day fix? Like I'm looking to lose some weight. Now you better believe this girl tagged me and was like, Kim McCluskey can help you, which is awesome. But then there's other coaches in there. There's other people. And instead of me being like trying to, fight for her business like I have in the past when I was a new coach and I just didn't know, like I would just be like, hey girl, I would love to chat, like I'm happy to show you some of the client trends or answering your questions. And sometimes I would just send like a message, or I would just share like a before and after or 2, and or whatever. But I wasn't like overly forceful, because I'm like, those coaches that are like fighting or doing it the wrong way or whatever, they're not ultimately going to be successful. They're going to be the ones that get the client that then reaches out to me that they had somebody that signed them up and now they need help because they don't, so I'm like, I don't worry. I truly believe that if we're doing things the right way, like we'll always be taken care of. But a lot of good has come from those groups, a lot of new friends and just relationships. And honestly, a lot of times it's just stuff in my personal life, like actual friends for me, or someone who ends up making my cake for my son's party, or someone who winds up like being my midwife, or so it's cool.
Well, I think I'm gonna do like one day I'm gonna pick something that I want to post about probably 5 days out of 7.
Yeah.
So I'll pick like something just, and maybe not on the same day every week, but make sure that these are the 5 days I need to make sure I post about this. But I think at least for this challenge group, I think I do want to do I sent you a picture. I don't know if you can look at it and tell me what you think. It's not real simple. And my thought process behind that was I wanted somebody to, I think people eventually will come back and say, what is the program you're doing? Or what is this Shakeology stuff? Like, and I think it'll take a little bit, but after I annoy them so much, it's going to spark their curiosity is kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So No, and I can change the pictures or whatever, but I want to make sure I have one picture of me after workout, one picture of me holding Shakeology, and just mix. I don't know.
I love seeing sweaty pictures. That's big progress. I'm super proud of you for that. With your one thing, this is a tip that I wish someone would have told me earlier. I did this way too long. With your shake, just know, sometimes I forget. Sometimes it happens naturally. It doesn't have to be like this.
Okay.
A lot of times I'll just have it so that they actually can't read the Shakeology, but they can see that it's in my hand. So that's kind of that curiosity marketing where we want them to ask us what it is, because if they see it and they see you posting about how great it is, they can just go order it. Hopefully they won't. I'm not saying it's always going to happen. But now that I think about it, that Lindsay Ann girl, didn't her say superfoods? When she did her post, I'm pretty sure that what I saw said workout.
It says cafe latte later. I don't know what.
Okay, yeah, so this one I'm looking at was from a couple of weeks ago, but it says workout, week of hard labor. So it says nothing about Beachbody, nobody would know that. Nutrition 5 out of 5, superfoods, vegan chocolate. So she put superfoods. And I think that somebody might be like, wait, how do you have chocolate superfoods? You know what I mean? Now people know she drinks her shake. And there are pictures where she has her Shakeology in there. I'm not saying that there's not, but I just don't think it's smacking you in the face. You know what I mean?
Okay, so maybe with that one, maybe I can switch it and I'll just put a chocolate and banana shake or whatever, and show the Shakeology on that one, and just kind of mix it up. Only because I don't want to retake the picture because I already did it. But
yeah, no, I was just gonna say I wouldn't worry about redoing it. I think that's done. This is gonna be key for you. Done is always better than perfect. And I have to remind myself, I'm like, if that was on a frame, I would have it right there. Done is better than perfect. Because I had to learn that with these team calls. I was like, oh, I didn't get to a PowerPoint and I didn't get to do all the pretty imaging and da-da-da. And I was like, Kim, a call is better than no call.
PowerPoint, so I've never had to do that. So I'm not even happy with that, but.
Yeah, so that might be good. Or so the one that my friend, and I'm not in any way telling you that you need to do this. It's just an idea and you'll see all of them. What she did and that you'll see me doing now is I don't even know that I saw this from her first. I can't remember. I saw it from another top coach and I was like, that's a good idea. She created an album for the program. So on Facebook, she created a photo album. So right now mine is called Back to You. Before it was Shift Your Life or Shifting My Life. But hers is called 21 Day Fix Extreme right now. So she is putting out there a program that she's doing. Okay. But in the corner of the image, I don't know if you can see, it says 1 because that's day 1. So she actually just has a picture of herself. And I tend to love writing on my images. But I'm watching a lot of top coaches doing a clean, crisp image of them, leading with them. And that stuff is in the text so that it's not too much to look at. And I think a lot of the times it's because these girls are doing their workouts in their shirts that are saying big, bold things. But so yeah, I just think it's pretty simple. It's almost like she's doing a daily check-in, on Facebook every day. And I think that if she did that, but here's the thing, she kind of earned that because she's doing it every day, but she's posting 5 times a day on social media, just like Ashley. I mean, it's not like everything is Beachbody. So if I was to look at any day of the week, for example, on Saturday, she started with a picture of her kids and talked about their birthday. And then a couple hours later, it was 3 hours later, it was her son's birthday. Then a couple hours later, it was another birthday thing. A couple hours later, it was another birthday thing. And so but typically it'll be something about, her and her kids in the morning. And then it'll be a picture of her workout, and it'll talk about her workout. Then it might be a meal prep tip. Then it might be for family. But she's kind of earning the Beachbody post because she's doing a lot else about, her faith or about her family or about whatever. So if you're somebody that feels like the most you might be able to post right now is 3 times a day, I'm not sure that I would tell you post it every day. But to be honest, I think it's worth playing with because of the theme. Having a theme, you want to know, if you think, I would try it, even if it's just for this round or for this month or whatever. And that's the only way you're going to know what you feel like works for you and what people are, Maybe you don't want to put it on the image. Maybe the image will just be you, and then maybe you'll put what you put in the image in the post. Because what would you, if you're going to have that be your image with all the writing on it, then what would your post say? Or were you going to use the post as like a kind of check-in?
That's probably what I need to do. I probably need to remove the text from the picture, put the picture and then text, so, and write it like she did. That way I'm writing a post, because I can't really write a post because I put it on the picture.
Yeah.
So,
And for me, I always felt like I had to spell it out for people. Like I would have never done that because I would have felt like I always need to make some big point with my image. No, I don't really think so. Like I think that just having people see that you're consistent, and they're just going to get to watch that you're sharing your journey. And I do like the idea of a little number in the bottom corner, like day 1 or day 2. And I don't know if a lot of this stuff, some of it she thought of herself. Like I know those little circles with like a thing. I love that. It's like her theme on her page. You're going to see it in every post every day. I've seen other pictures, coaches that a black and white picture, like that's their theme. Like everything is black and white. I've seen other people, like there's all kinds of things people do. And my problem is I haven't thought of my own yet. So I haven't like done anything yet because I get too focused on what everybody else is doing, and then I'm like, well, I don't know what I should do. But you'll find what works.
I'm just absorbing everything and kind of, I promise like in a year from now, it's going to be 180 degrees different than it is now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I just got to find my niche and make my boss disappear.
Yes.
He drives me nuts. But hopefully if I just work my butt on for him, and it sucks because I can't go complain about him to anybody because he's the owner and he's my boss. So.
Yeah. I know. Well, I hope that like things. I can't even imagine. I'm so grateful. Like there's different challenges of being a stay-at-home mom, but whenever I hear people talk about like bosses or people or my husband and the disorganization, where I'm always like, I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah. I was actually talking to Monica today because we both work from home, and we were like, we better watch our mouth because if we get fired, we're gonna have to go work in an office. And I'm like, I don't think I could do that. Like I've been working from home for so long, like I wouldn't even know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But so I have to watch my mouth until I can not have to work for him anymore. But things are just messed up. That the both hurricanes have really screwed it up because shipments are late and people are ticked off and stuff's missing and stuff's flooded, and it's just the transportation industry, and it's stressful as it is. So add storms and natural disasters, that just really puts a wrench in everything. So
yeah,
it's the nature of the business.
Yes.
Anyway.
Well, it was really nice chatting. Thank you for being on the call. I hope some of this stuff helped.
Oh yeah, totally good. I've got some planning to do, and I bought this little planner book from Walmart, and like I can pick the day, and like I don't know. I started writing in it yesterday. So
Awesome.
we'll see.
That's great. I started with one of those too, and it helped a